And this is Success Talk. I'm Deborah Shariff. Thanks so much for streaming in. Today, I am so excited that we have author Dell S. Henry with us. Welcome, Dell.
Thank you so much. I thank you for letting me come here.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm so excited that, many authors now are starting to write their bios. And I think that's incredible. As a matter of fact, here's a little tip. I actually started writing my novel about my story. And I think it's important for, I don't know, you leave a legacy for your family. Having said that, and I want to be motivated just like the streamers do on Facebook Live and LinkedIn Live. So tell us what motivated you to want to write your own biography?
Well, for the last 15 years, whenever there was a gathering or among friends, they always said, Dale, you need to write a book, man, about your life and all your relatives and everything. I said, nah, no, we're serious, Dale. You need to write a book. So I said, okay, all right, I'll get started with that. And little by little, it took me 6 years of research. I had to go down to the state capitol, which is in Trenton, New Jersey. They have the genealogy program there. And also, I went to Princeton University for a lot of information, as well as also I went to Schomburg Research Center in Harlem, New York, and they provided me with a lot of good information as well. And also, I went to local places like the North Main Library in North New Jersey here, and also Dover and Randolph, New Jersey. I got some information as well. So, what I did, I merged my life experiences with all of my relatives and ancestors. And I came up with the book. It's called Fruits. This is the cover of it. And it stands for Family Research Uncovers Important Time Secrets. And everybody that's on the front cover of the book is related to our family or had family ties or associations with our family. You may recognize some of the people on the front cover also. There you go.
Let me pop myself in here for a minute. Um, so I think that's absolutely incredible. So you did some genealogy or ancestry research to have all those famous folks connected with you.
Yes.
I think that is absolutely wonderful. So what did you find out about who you are, and how did you start the process of actually writing your story?
Well, Deborah, I started out with my grandparents first, and my great grandparents. And from there, that's when I had to get the help of genealogy help to get me. It goes back from the 1600s and then to the 1800s and then up to future times up to now. So that's how I got all the information. I had some very good help from the Trenton Library, as I mentioned, the genealogy department there. There were some ladies there. They gave what's called golden nuggets whenever I started digging. They helped me out a lot, and eventually they changed my name from Del Henry to Shush because
Oh, wow.
every time I found some nuggets, I would say, "Oh crap! Look what I found." They would say, "Shh, quiet, Del, quiet." So eventually, the three of them they ganged up on me and said, "Del, you're not Del Henry no more. You're Shush from now on." They say, "Hey,
You
Shush,
got
over here.
so excited.
Go to aisle
Mhm.
two, Shush, over there. We got some more nuggets for you." So that was very nice. It just made the time go by faster. That was
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Absolutely. And, that was sort of your background, but what did you, I mean, okay, the process of finding out who you are, who your ancestors were back in the day, but up until now, what about you, your family? Like I read in your bio
Hmm.
that, you have a wonderful family, a wonderful wife and a son.
Yes,
And I just think this is really incredible. You talk about the 50s and 60s and East Orange, New Jersey,
yes,
um, and how you enjoy music, reading, arts, many sports, blah, blah, blah. So you actually get into who you are, but you start chronologically from in the past, from your ancestors. So what was
yes.
that like, and how did you organize all that information?
It was beautiful growing up in East Orange, New Jersey in the 1950s. And East Orange was nominated as the cleanest city in the United States back in the 1950s. It was a beautiful place. Uh, my father was in the Navy, and when he came out, uh, he, my father and mother, they were grew up in Newark, New Jersey, which is not 2 towns over from where I'm at. I'm in West Orange now, and so after he came out the service, they decided to get a house, and they got a GI house for $9,000. This was in the 1950. They bought the house, 278 Elmwood Avenue, and when we moved there, I wasn't born yet. I was born in 1951. One of my brothers was there. At the time, it was just my mother, father, and my older brother and my sister at that time, 2 sisters. And when at that time, East Orange had a mixture of everybody. Like our neighbors on the left side were Jewish people, on the right were people from Ireland, and we had Italian people down the street. It was a nice mixture of everybody. And every house had manicured green grass. And we didn't have the light posts we have now out on the street. We had these little gas lit uh, type of lights, and they were jaggered, like across the street would be one, and they staggered it all the way up and down the street. And all the neighbors were so beautiful and nice. Like I mentioned in the book, a neighbor, if they were baking a cake or a pie and they were short of milk, they would knock on the next door neighbors. Hey, you got some milk for me? I'm baking a cake. So they said, sure, here's a cup, cup full of milk. So they would give it to them, and the prize they would get when the cake or pie was finished, they would get a slice of that pie. That's how it was. It was so everybody was friendly.
That
Everybody
was
got along.
that's really wonderful. So, what was your process for actually writing? Because you talk about how wonderful it was growing up in New Jersey,
Hmm.
and so you started. What did you actually create a timeline, or how did you actually get from your head to your paper to actually write your novel?
Well, Deborah, the laptop that I'm facing right now, that's where it all started. And what I did, I would just sit down for about an hour, and all these different information would just come flooding in my mind. So I would start typing as fast as I could for an hour and 15 minutes. And then I would just get up and I would do the same thing the next day. And this, as I mentioned, it went on for 6 years. And I collected a lot of different information, and I had no organization as far as my manuscript and everything at that time. And it wasn't until when I was actually finished with everything from beginning to end. I was very fortunate. I found a editor who used to work for a very large book company in New York, and she read the manuscript and she said, "Dell, I normally charge $5,000 to $7,000 for editing." I said, "I can't afford that." So she said, "Listen, I'm going to do a favor for you. I'm going to do it for $900." I said, "Okay, I can handle that." And she
Wow.
did a great job. Took 6 months of going back and forth to clean up the mess I made as far as writing. Because I had everything scattered all over the place. And
Wow.
it was very great.
So, when
And
did you actually finish writing the novel?
last year, I
Okay.
finished it. It took 6 years, and last year I got it published with Book Baby. They're down in Pennsauken, New Jersey, with South Jersey, near Philadelphia. And well, after I had the manuscript done, I was fortunate twice because I met a graphic designer who did the graphic designer for Star Wars of all books.
Wow.
He did the
Wow.
front cover of that. I said, "Wow."
Yes.
And he said, "Dell, I want to help you out with your program also." He gave me a good break also.
Oh,
So he
wow.
did the graphic design of the book, which you see again. Hope you
Yes,
don't mind
I
me
have
saying.
it up. You see how I have it up?
And after
Yeah.
that, then I had all the manuscripting taken care of. And
Mhm.
the last steps were getting it formatted and printed. So that's when I contacted BookBaby, and they helped me with the formatting. We had to go back and forth and everything.
Right.
And whenever they had some issues about something, they would call me up about doing corrections and everything. And after that, then they printed it. And
Wow.
this past December of 2021, uh, on the 9th, that I was officially published.
Oh, I know that was a celebration in your
Yes, it was.
family. Now
Yes.
you won an award, and I just want to show the streamers this award that you actually won, which is incredible. Let me see if it will cooperate with me. Oh, let me go to the first page. There you go. So tell us about this award that you won.
Yes, there was a firm online. They were asking for different authors to submit their books, and I think there was a couple of thousand people entered. And they gave different awards for different genres. It was children's books or romance books, etc. And I was in the category of autobiographies.
Hmm.
And there was somebody that was in front of me in the contest. They are on Shark Tank TV. His name is Damon John. He beat me out for the first place. I was a runner up, and I got the award in the nonfiction
Second.
category there. Yeah.
Now going back and actually you're receiving a reward, an award,
hmm
and when you go back and you start to read your own autobiography, what was that like for you? Were there some emotions? Was it joyful? I mean, there had to be something going on after doing all that research, putting it down on paper, and then writing your book. So, what was that like?
Deborah, what Book Baby did, they sent me 25 books after I finished publishing it. And when it came through the UPS and I opened up that first book, I was like, I did it, I got it done. Yes. It was exhilarating. It really was. I never wrote a book before.
Yeah.
When I was in elementary school and high school, I was like a class clown. I was always the guy peeling, peeling, the girl in front of me and trying to get her attention by pulling her hair and stuff like that. I wasn't paying a lot of attention in school, so it's very exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm so happy that you're on the show because I have an announcement for my streamers, and I think it's one of the questions that you actually asked me about because I am an independent filmmaker, and you talked about I think you want to take it to that next level and have and produce a documentary. So I actually, just to make this quick announcement, and then we can talk. I want to talk a little bit more about your book, and I want you to read something from your book as well, if you would so oblige us here. Um, One of the things that we just created is called DocuMe, and what DocuMe is, it's a course that assists people who are non-filmmakers to actually produce their documentary, an actual documentary. So we have a planner and a workbook, and we're actually going to launch it next month. So if you are interested, because I know you did ask me, as an independent filmmaker wanting to take it to the next level, I think is awesome. You start off with the novel, an autobiography novel. But what is so beautiful about this legally is, let's say, for example, you didn't produce your book, you didn't write your book, and you decided you wanted to do your documentary first. Well, there's a lot of legal issues that go along with it, and you might not have your content, you might not own it, but when you write your book you own it.
hmm
So that is such a smart, you already knew, so you're shaking your head, so you
Yeah.
know that that's yes, so it's yours. So I just wanted to mention it's called DocuMe, and we're going to actually launch it in September, and I will send you the first announcement to all the authors that have appeared on my show so that you can actually get an opportunity. Plus, I'm going to put a discount for the authors who show up on my show as well. But as I'm saying that, does that sound sort of attractive
Yes,
to you?
yes, it sounds very attractive. Yes,
Yeah, and it's really an opportunity for people to actually document. They have the book, and of course, you know how young people are. If you want to pass on your legacy to the younger people in your family, and
hmm
it's just a wonderful way to provide them with that particular visual of who you are, and to see it, visually, and see images and images of your. Hopefully, you might have some images of your ancestors. um,
yes,
yes, and we're going through that. We're going through that whole process right now.
yes.
So, having said that, so it's called DocuMe. But I want to get back to you and
hmm
your book, and I'm wondering, do you have a favorite quote, or do you have a favorite excerpt that you'd like to read to our streamers?
Wow, there's so many different parts going through the years. Uh, Let me see. There was one time my grandfather. He was born in St. Kitts in the West Indies,
Mm-hmm.
and when he was 16 years old, his parents allowed him to come to this new country called America
Mm.
to get an education. He had some relatives in Brooklyn, New York,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to college. And this is in 1916. He came here, and when he graduated, he opened up a music school. He studied music and business. This is back in the 1920s, and he opened up a music school in Newark, New Jersey. And back in those days,
Mm-hmm.
they had a lot of different nightclubs and restaurants all over the place in Newark. And this was right before the Depression. And one day, after he closed up his studio, a car pulled up, and this man came out with a shotgun, and he
Oh my.
shot this other man 12 times. And my
Oh.
grandfather was in the alleyway seeing this. And when the
Oh.
man got back in the car and took off, my grandfather picked him up and helped get him to the hospital. The man,
Mm.
he recovered. This was in November of 1930. And when the man recovered, he wanted to know who's the person that saved my life. When he found out it was my grandfather, he gave him a lot of money as showing his appreciation. The man's life he saved, his name was Richie the Boot Boyardo. And they made a movie called The Godfather that's patterned after this man's life. I don't know if you heard of the movie The Godfather. Came out back in
Are
the
you
19.
serious? That's one of my favorite films.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
you see the
Oh, that
scene
was
with,
Mario Puccio.
yes, that's right. And
My
the scene when
goodness.
Marlon Brando gets shot 12 times, they had it during the daytime. But in reality, it was at 2 o'clock in the morning when he got shot.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
so my grandfather, when he got the lot of money in return, it's showing his appreciation. He opened up a very posh nightclub in Newark called the Nest. My grandfather's name was Ernest B. Bernard Henry, and
Mm-hmm.
out of the name Ernest, he made the nightclub called the Nest, Nest. Was part of his name. And at that time, a lot of people like Duke Ellington, um, Sarah Vaughan, people like that, they were just getting started. As a matter
Mm.
of fact, he was also the chairman of the colored YMCA. And
Wow.
that 10-year-old girl, her name was Sarah Lois Vaughan at that time. She wanted to get vocal lessons. He gave her first vocal lessons.
What was her name? The singer?
Sarah Lois Vaughan, Sarah
Sarah.
Vaughan.
Sarah. Oh my. Now that's my favorite singer. Oh
He gave her first vocal lessons.
my goodness.
And you'll see a lot of pictures in the book. Her younger sister gave us pictures of Sarah put in the book, so that was very nice. Donna Vaughan, yeah,
Sarah Vaughan. Who? Well,
yes,
now that's from our era, of course.
yes,
Let me to
yes.
know. So, do you have a part in the book that you'd like to read? We have Actually, I'm going to go over because we actually came on at 3 minutes, so I'm going to extend it to those 3 minutes. But do you have an excerpt that you'd like to read right from the book?
Okay. I used to play basketball in college, and
Mm-hmm.
I was very fortunate to be invited to an NBA. It was called uh, it was a shootout in basketball terms. I was the only college person there. Everybody else were old ABA basketball players and NBA basketball players. And John Shoemate, he used to play for Notre Dame, and
Mm-hmm.
then I went to the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Braves basketball team in the NBA, and then he was
Mm-hmm.
transferred over to the Phoenix Suns. And when he was home on vacation, he's from Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is just a few towns over. He brought some of his friends with him to the park, and I
Oh,
already had some of my friends at the park. So
mm-hmm.
within 15 minutes, the place was packed with people waiting to see this game. So after the game, John, he pulled me over and he said, "Hey, Dell, I like your game, so we're going to be playing with the big boys tomorrow."
Uh-oh.
He said, "Would you like to come?" I said, "Sure, man, yeah." So everybody at the park said, "Dell, what did he just tell you, man?" I said, "Nothing big. It was nothing big. But it was big, let me tell you. It was big. Got invitation playing with NBA players. So he said, "Be there 11 o'clock sharp." I said, "Okay." So I left that park and I went to another park that didn't have anybody much there, so I could work on my game overnight. And when I showed up, there was Walt Clyde Frazier and
Oh.
Nate Tiny Archibald, Dean Meminger, Hawthorne, Wingo, all these NBA players were there.
Mm.
And so Clyde was standing right in front of me, and Nate was right on my right side. And since John invited me, I was on John's team. And I looked at Dean. I said, "Dean, you get on Nate, and I'll get on Clyde. In other words, I'll be guarding Clyde." So in the book, I mentioned some things here. Let me get to the chapter here.
Mm-hmm.
Where we at? Okay. So as I mentioned, Dean Meminger got on Nate, and I'll get on Clyde. And Dean, he said, "Okay." So Dean and Nate, they were both from New York, and they were used to playing against each other and New Yorkers, and they're used to guarding each other in the NBA as well. So let's see. When Clyde looked at me, he gave me the up and down look like this guy's
Mm-hmm.
nuts. So when we had the tip off, the ball came to me, and Clyde was guarding me, and so I came down court and I ran into the paint, getting ready to shoot, but Clyde was right there blocking me, so I switched over to my left hand, and John
Mm-hmm.
Straight sent me a big pick. And when he sent me the pick, I shot the ball over Clyde and I scored, right? The ball went right through the basket. Clyde looked at me like, "Who you think you are, no name college boy? Don't you know who I am? I'm all Clyde Frazier, player of the year."
Mm.
So Nate came down court, and when he came down court, as soon as he passed the half court line, he gave the ball to Walt Frazier to teach me a lesson. And Clyde, he came down, he backed me down to the top of the key, then he brought me down to where the free throw line is at. Hit my elbow, hit my nose, and as a back,
Uh-oh.
he shot a jumper right over me. And he just ran down court like, said, "I've been
Well,
doing
no
this
big
all
thing.
my life."
Yeah. He
Yeah,
shut you down.
got him good. So I came down court. I wasn't going
Mm-hmm.
to be going on a one-on-one with him because I had John was down on the post waiting for the ball. So
Mm-hmm.
when you play basketball, you always feed your big men because they're
Mm.
the ones that give you the rebounds and fast break. So I fed John the ball and got out of his way. So he scored, and then Nate took the ball out and he came down court and he gave the ball to Clyde a second time. He wanted to take care of me, make sure I got the message. Of course, without speaking a word, they were like telling me, "You do not show up, walk Clyde
Mm.
Frazier. This is his court." I didn't
So
say
now
anything.
that information is in the book.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without that. Yeah.
And now, do you have pictures that coincide with the book, or
I have some pictures here. I have a. Let's see.
okay, I'm gonna just put you up
Picture of
here.
John Shoemate and Walt Clyde Frazier. Yeah, there they go. That's it.
You were in college, or when
I
you
just
were
came out of college at the time.
just came
Yeah.
out of college?
I
Wow,
have
why
four.
didn't you get drafted after that? They thought you were such a good player.
But what happened? We had what was called a North-South All-Star game in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just a reserve on that particular game in case
Mm-hmm.
somebody got hurt. And
Okay.
nobody got hurt in that game. They had Red Auerbach from the Celtics. They had a lot of NBA scouts
Wow.
at that game, and I didn't get to play in the game. I practiced with the team on Saturday, but I didn't the
Mm-hmm.
actual game. And I was on the north team, and on the south team they had one other person waiting in the wings also. So after that, I said, well, that's the end of my playing career. And it was like 3 months later. It was three
Mm-hmm.
months later. That's when I was invited, to play in this pro am game. And
Wow.
after the game, see, Walt Frazier, he's very strong, and he was quick. But Nate Archibald was quick and fast. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference. And so that's why I picked up Clyde because of that he was strong. And after what I did, he was in my what's called in basketball term. He was in my jock all game. In other words, he was guarding me very close all game. And like monkey see, monkey do, I returned the favor to him. So I was on Clyde very tight all game. Also, I was pestering him. When he came up court, I was flicking at the ball, trying to steal it, and get the ball and everything. And after the
Wow.
game, there was NBA scouts there. I didn't know it at the time, and one of them came up to me and asked me for my name and my address and my phone number. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "In 2 days, you're going to be getting a phone call." And I said, "Okay." So 2 days later, at 2 o'clock, I got a phone call, and this right here. He's the head scout of the New York Knicks. His name was Dick McGuire. His name was Dick McGuire. He was the head scout of the New York Knicks at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
he called me up and he said, Dell, some good things about you. We want to bring you in the camp so we can get a closer look at you. So
Wow.
uh,
People
then he
do
said,
really like that stuff. We have like 2 minutes left. I want people to get a
okay,
chance. You can wrap up that
yeah,
conversation. I don't want to
all
completely
right.
cut you off, but
He asked me for my agent, and he just hung up the phone. And so I said, I don't have an agent. And he hung up. And so I never got a chance to get there. I didn't have nobody to represent me. That
oh
was the
wow, that's
impact.
too bad. Now,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to get a hold of your book, and
Mm-hmm.
let me just put it up here again.
Sure.
Let me
Mm-hmm.
put the book up. Tell
Yeah.
me how they can reach you.
They can get it, go on Amazon and just type in the words fruits with the period after each letter,
Hmm?
and it'll come right up. And then you tap on the front book cover, and it'll direct them to purchasing if they want a hardcover, a paperback, or ebook. And also, you get to read the first two chapters for free. And on the left side, when you scroll down on the left side, you can also read 7 different uh, reviews of the book. Yeah.
Oh, great, great. It's called Fruits, and it says end
Mhm.
stream, so I don't want them to cut us off, but I want to thank you so much, Del Henry. In a couple of months, I'm going to have all the authors on so we can have a reunion. But thank you so much for being a part of the show and emailing me and being persistent. And if you're interested in getting a hold of Del Henry with his book Fruits. It's on Amazon.com. Thanks again. Thanks, streamers. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
Del,
much.
for being a part. Take
Thank
care.
you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay. Take care.